My name's Caroline Poynton. I'm recording this today off YouTube because I'm not copywriting. I'm paying attention because I'm correct about King Charles. All this time I've been correct about that twat changing his religion and converting to Islam.
King Charles is not listening, taking no advice. We have a king that is, I believe, working against the people. He has lied and not upheld his oath he made to us. And we have a Prime Minister who has previously said he wants to abolish the monarchy. Oh crikey, it is a packed Tuesday. Plus, there's backlash regarding the royal finances. These are my opinions. Of course they're my opinions. They've come out of my mouth. What a stupid thing. I don't know why we always have to say these things as a disclaimer. These are my opinions. I don't mean to offend anyone. No one is going to come
offend
to
anyone. I'll tell you what, who's he meant to be offending? Because it's not illegal to offend anybody anyway, so I don't know what they're arresting people for. And who's he going to offend?
Channel pre-programmed to be offended. People know exactly what they're getting. Unfiltered truth. So let's get down to it. On Thursday, the palace confirmed to GB News there would be no Easter message. So I'm now calling this Eastergate. No Easter message from Defender of the Faith. Now, whether you're religious or not, I don't even think it comes down to it at this point. I think we're all just thinking, hang about,
common respect.
That's your job, right? King Charles. That's your job.
To the
But no,
to everyone in
the man that is more committed to climate change and a field mouse absolutely failed to release a message. He did have time to do a Ramadan one though this year, didn't he? Of course he did. So when GB News got the story, social media went into meltdown. I have never ever seen backlash against King Charles like this. And quite rightly so, I believe, because it's not a lot, is it? It's not a lot to ask the king to release a message, but he just couldn't do it. So the backlash began, and I thought, at this point, the palace could still turn this round. They could send a videographer to King Charles, get something quickly edited, and put it out. Nothing. So he did the Maundy Thursday service. And then Easter Sunday came, and the post on social media was, I mean, look, I'm really bad at tech insiders. You know this. You know I am a tech dinosaur. I could have done better, and that is saying something. This was a static post. It was not personable. It told us nothing about King Charles's faith. We know, don't we? And it was very, very disappointing. It really tells us something when Shabana Mahmood makes a more personable statement over Easter than King Charles, the defender of the faith, allegedly. So here we have a king that has prioritised other ideologies, you know what I'm saying, for decades and decades. Does his Ramadan message, but nothing on Easter. What,
King Charles thought he was getting away with it by throwing Stanley under the bus. But it's all coming back to bite him and haunt him on the back, on the bam. Because, you know, at the end of the day, he's changed his religion. Why would he need to do that? Why would somebody convert to Islam? That's a Christian, especially the king. Why would he want to do that? I'll tell you why he would want to do that. Because he's probably sold us down the flipping river and to Islam or whatever. And then, well, he can't advocate to kill Jews and Christians if he's a freaking Christian, can he? So that's exactly why he's changed his religion to Islam. So he doesn't have to feel guilty about slaughtering Jews and Christians.
So the palace didn't release a video message. There was nothing. King Charles is not listening. No. He's not listening to the people all around the world that are outraged. He's not listening to any advisors who are giving him clear advice on what to do.
He's listening to the devil, poltergeist, because he's Hitler. He's converted himself to Islam. And as for him calling anybody a Nazi, the only fucking Nazi I know about is fucking King Charles, because he's a German. He's German. Well, his DNA says over 50% German, so he ain't fucking English or British, he's fucking German. From Gotha, the Gotha bomb that hit England. They fucking caused it, the royal family. The Queen and the Victoria and all of them.
So at this point, this is what I want you to know, insiders. This is a deliberate choice. There are no mistakes when it comes to the royal family. It's simply impossible. When it comes to social media posts, when it comes to optics, these things are planned a year in advance. A year. At least a year in advance. So it's just not possible that, oh, they forgot to put it out. They forgot that one slipped through the net. His job's defender of the faith. This was a deliberate attack, I feel, on the church and on the UK and the Commonwealth. This is his job to uphold these Christian values. And let's just play this forward.
In the Bible.
It's very clear to see where this is all going. We don't need to be Einstein to work it out.
And it's selfish for Mr. William
has lied to us. He has not upheld his oath.
Nope.
We have a Prime Minister that wants to abolish the monarchy and has previously spoken about that. And we have a king who's defender of the faith and allergic to Christianity. It's not looking great. But what do we see from the palace? Deflection. So I told you last year, insiders, I said, get ready. The palace are on Operation Pull in Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales. And I find this really, really unfair because A, it's not fair on them to have to pick up this flack. But also, I feel it's very manipulative of the palace because it makes people forget at what a failure King Charles is.
And why would King Charles do that? To his own son. To your own flesh and blood, your own son. Why would he do that? What a terrible father he is as well. He's evil. He's evil. He's the devil. He is poltergeist. I thought it was Keir Starmer that was the poltergeist. I'm fucking wrong. It's not Keir Starmer that's poltergeist. It's fucking King Charles. Keir Starmer's just a lapdog. King Charles is the fucking ultimate poltergeist.
And so at the church service, we saw a deliberate move from the palace to send Prince William and Catherine into the church first. That was deliberate, and let me tell you why. The pictures have gone all around the world.
And I like
everywhere. They look amazing. Of course they do. And there's no mention in the mainstream media whatsoever about the backlash regarding King Charles.
I was going to say about the backlash about was going to go against King Charles. That's why he said he had cancer and he hadn't even got cancer. He's a fucking liar. And you know, Prince Harry, when he did that Nazi thing, he wasn't doing a Nazi salute to everybody in the world. He was doing it to King Charles, his own father. Because basically, Prince Harry's calling King Charles a Nazi because he's Hitler. Correct. He's a fucking bully bastard, isn't he? He even bullies his own sons.
An Easter message. So if you weren't on...
So if, you know, what type of father does that? So why, if you don't if you could do that to William and Harry, which are his own sons, his own flesh and blood, then probably he could do it to anybody else, doesn't it? The church or anything fucking else. That he's a fucking fraudist. It's not lying, it's sin in the Bible, it's fraud, and it's fucking treason. And if he doesn't leave, we should be allowed to cut his fucking head off. Because kings have had their heads chopped off before. From sinning and traitoring the country.
And there's no mention in the mainstream media whatsoever about the backlash regarding King Charles and the Easter message. So if you weren't on X, if you weren't on YouTube, and if you weren't on Instagram, and you were taking your news from the mainstream media, could you imagine? Terrible. That propaganda, it's bad for your health. Then you would not know all about about this because the mainstream media are not going to tell you because they are controlled by the palace.
Yeah,
so
they
here we
say that all the
have
time.
the Sun.
Why would they give Sadiq Khan a
Then we've
fucking
got the
knighthood as well?
Express.
What for?
What else have we got?
Donald Trump
These will
called
be
him
good
a
for the fire
terrible
later.
mayor, the worst
The
mayor in the
Times.
world, and King Charles is fucking bowing down
And
to
the
giving him
Mirror.
a fucking knighthood. Hey.
And nowhere does it mention the backlash for King Charles. Nowhere does it mention that he's literally lied, taking his oath.
Cousin.
And so then we also see more backlash coming regarding royal finances. So I want to read this to you. So GOTV have just launched this story. King Charles, 138 million windfall, faces radical review as royals come under fire. And also just remember, this is the same king that has yet to meet any of the grooming gang survivors, which I just find utterly grotesque.
Why would he do that?
Because evidently safeguarding children.
Camilla is his fucking cousin. Why should he marry his cousin?
King Charles is standing scrutinised amid cost of living backlash. King Charles faces mounting pressure as the 138 million sovereign grant heads to the royal family this year, with calls for radical reform over the rising cost of royal upkeep.
I was going to say, I think the Queen was dead before whatever they're saying. She died well before they fucking say she died. And he fucking killed her, got rid of her. And they've just been keeping it hushed, lying about it all this time, pretending the Queen's ill. They've probably been using some fucking a lookalike to make it look like Queen Elizabeth, and maybe a bit of AI here or there. You know, you never know with these people.
Chancellor Rachel Reeves is being urged to reconsider the grant heads to the royal family this year, with calls for radical
Oh yeah, it is about the money.
This is radical review as royals come under fire. And
all about
these will be good for the fire later.
Sorry.
The Times,
Donald Trump,
and the Mirror. And nowhere does it mention the backlash for King Charles. Nowhere does it mention that he's literally lied, taking his oath.
Yeah, he's lying, taking the oath, yeah.
Then we also
it's in the Bible, it's fraud,
more
it's
backlash
treason
coming regarding royal finances. So I want to read this to you. So GOTV have just launched this story. King Charles, 138 million windfall, faces radical review as royals come under fire. And also just remember, this is the same king that has yet to meet any of the grooming gang survivors, which I just find utterly grotesque. Because evidently safeguarding children. Oh no, that's too political.
He's involved, that's why. The Epstein files and
King Charles is spending scrutinised amid cost of living backlash. King Charles faces mounting pressure as the 138 million sovereign grant heads to the royal family this year, with calls for radical reform over the rising cost of royal upkeep. The Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, is being urged to reconsider the grant, which has jumped nearly £50 million in 3 years. Largely, get ready, to fund the £369 million in Buckingham Palace renovations over a decade. Just want to pause here. The same Buckingham Palace whereby we have heard from Paul Page that women were trafficked in and out.
Yeah.
The same palace whereby one of America's worst predators, Jeffrey Epstein, had access all areas passes. The same palace that Ghislaine Maxwell, who's in prison for trafficking.
They created
She just drove straight in. Her Range Rover.
The same palace that created
Hitler. And the same palace whereby Jimmy Savile hung out a lot there too.
Yeah, Jimmy Savile, I've just said that.
With these renovations. How about this money goes into the police instead? Let's cut the police and let's actually get the majority of people pushing forwards with actually getting some truth as to what has gone on. This is a palace whereby human trafficking has
been going on.
Gone on I'm not okay with this. The Treasury confirmed the sovereign rise under a 5-year review, but there are no plans to scrap it entirely. Introduced by then Chancellor George Osborne in 2011, it funds the King's official duties, including staff salaries, travel and palace maintenance.
Oh, it's Nigel Farage.
Staff travel. Or the same staff.
God, no, open England.
Really enabled Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, because it was his assistant that was booking travel. It was his private secretary who went...
We've got no fucking hope. Sorry, I'll have to rewind that bit because I missed that bit. But we've got no fucking hope in England, have we? We've got all these fucking bastards trafficking us and doing what they want to do. They've been doing it to me. They've got my little girl falsely, wrongly adopted. And if anything happens to her, I hold King Charles responsible, believe me, in the name of God. If he doesn't go, then hell will be let loose on earth. Because I hope fucking Donald Trump does some bit more to King Charles. I hope Donald Trump stands up and tells King Charles exactly what he's doing. I hope someone's got to. And maybe it's going to have to be Donald Trump. I don't like to put things like that onto people, but, you know, that kind of thing. But Donald Trump's got to speak about Charles, because this is wrong. I mean, they've got more on fucking all this.
Various passes. The same palace that Ghislaine Maxwell, who's in prison for trafficking,
sick of it.
She just drove straight in. Her Range Rover, straight in. And the same palace whereby Jimmy Savile hung out a lot there too. I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable with these renovations. How about this money goes into the police instead? Let's gut the police and let's actually get...
How about this money? Tell you what, how about that money goes into deporting all these fucking illegal immigrants that they've brought in? First of all, we don't need to put money into... Well, we do need to... I want some money because I've now no compensation money. I respect all the other that have been abused, because I've been abused and I've been trafficked out and everything. So I respect that. But the thing is, just giving people money ain't going to bring any hope to everybody. It's not going to make anything better. It's not going to bring anybody any justice. What's going to bring some fucking justice is that money could go to deporting illegal immigrants. That and the perpetrators that did the crimes, and getting rid of some of the others, the ones that fucking King Charles and all that. That money should go towards that King Charles, you fucking bastard. I hope he sees Hitler in the reflection of the mirror when he looks in the mirror, because that's what he is and that's who he is.
People.
In fact, he's worse than fucking Hitler. I actually don't mind Hitler. I mean, I don't particularly like him. I don't particularly agree with everything he's done. But compare him to King Charles is just as bad.
Pushing forwards with actually getting some truth as to what has gone on. This is a palace whereby human trafficking has
don't give a fuck about
gone on. I'm not okay with this. The Treasury
has got charities for everything illegal
under
and
a
all the
5-year review,
none
but
for
there are no plans
trafficking.
to scrap it entirely. Introduced by then Chancellor George Osborne in 2011, it funds the King's official duties, including staff salaries, travel and palace maintenance.
Why have we got to pay for him?
Staff
Why is our tax money paying for that?
The same staff that really enabled Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, because it was his assistant that was booking travel.
Say, this is the thing, yeah. I don't know if I want to get rid of the complete monarchy thing, because it is meant to be king and queen, something that's kind of magical and respectful and all of these things that, you know, I'm probably not, because I swear or whatever, but that doesn't make me a bad person or anything. It just makes me that my emotions run wild with me sometimes and whatever. And I go off subjects of where I'm meant to speak or what not speak or whatever. But I don't think I don't completely entirely want to get rid of it all, because I think that it's meant to be special. It's meant to be for the country, for the people. I don't know. I don't even know for the church, it's just really bad. I mean, that's what he's doing. He's doing this so they can try and get rid of the monarchy. So it can't pass down to William or Harry. Because the thing is, because they're German, aren't they? So, you see, when we thought we won the war with Germany, we fucking didn't. Because they sent the royal family here to basically keep destroying England after the war. So the royal family have been destroying England bit by bit after the war. Yes, with Hitler. But the thing is, Hitler is very pissed off with the royal family of the Queen. Queen Elizabeth is with Hitler, and Queen Elizabeth is being questioned. Interrogation by Hitler and other people up there. And Princess Diana and a lot of other people that they've destroyed lives on. Jack Ripper and all sorts of people. Because the royal family created Hitler in the fucking first place, right? They made Hitler, you know, give him them commands to do whatever. And then they betrayed him. Then they betrayed Hitler. So Hitler has been after the royal family ever since. And Hitler's, his soul or whatever, the spirit of him, he hasn't gone up into the spirit world, into heaven, Hitler. He's gone to hell. He's in hell. You know, like Jack Ripper and whatever, and Jimmy Savile, they're all in fucking hell. And Epstein, there's another one that's coming to get King Charles and the royal family because they've stitched him up as well. So there's a lot of people that royal family. And I wouldn't necessarily say that after Harry or William, they're mainly after Charles, they're waiting for him. I hope he sees Hitler and Jack the Ripper in that fucking mirror when he looks in the mirror. Because he'll never see God ever again after sin in the Bible. You can't sin the Bible and expect to see God. Stop it, Lexi! Come on, I've opened the door out there. Come on. I'm just waiting for my cat for a minute. Come on. So I can't understand.
It was his private secretary who went to Peru with him when he confirmed the sovereign grant is under a 5-year review, but there are no plans to scrap it entirely. Introduced by then Chancellor George Osborne in 2011, it funds the King's official duties, including staff salaries, travel and palace maintenance. Staff travel. Or the same staff that really enabled Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, because it was his assistant that was booking travel.
So they should be all
it was his private secretary who went to Peru with him.
But they don't get the royal family to control the police.
Oh, and then we've got the Met Police who flew over to New York to accompany Sarah Ferguson when she wanted to meet Epstein for lunch, right after he came out of prison for being a sex offender. I mean, the mind boggles at this point. So here we are. We've got a king that can't stick to his job. He's got a very, very clear brief. I tell you what, if it was Defender of the Field Mouse, oh, he'd be straight there, wouldn't he? But Defender of the Faith, not a chance. So we've got the king that's fallen short. We've got the palace pulling out the move they always pull when they are trying to distract you from being cross with the king. They pull out Prince William and Princess of Wales. And then we have this sovereign grant that is going towards staff salaries that have enabled Andrew Mountbatten to behave in this way. And to just keep doing up the palace while children are going to breakfast clubs. Right.
If he has,
I'm not right
then
with this.
I was going to say no. Then if he has,
so my inbox has been full with people saying, can Charles get people's trust back?
No, can he
At this point, I don't believe he can. We have a king that is not listening. He is not taking any advice.
It's in the Bible.
And we're in a climate where you need your king to be giving you stability. We're having people arrested for tweets and put in jail. It's illegal to fly a flag
We've got
on
Muslims
a
in the
because,
street.
Apparently it's divisive.
Praying.
Divisive. Watch this clip from Jamie Lang and Professor Green, where they talk about, this is so deeply offensive, how much white men have lost their way.
Much fucking division. We're not even, against patriarchy together. It's just, well, if women are doing better, it must be at the cost of men. You know what I mean? Like, let's feed that to men. In the same way that people are encouraged to be angry at immigrants. Because
women aren't doing better than men.
Right? Despite you having much more in common with them than you ever will your middle or upper class counterparts, they're the problem. It's all of this division which is encouraged and relied upon. It's then leveraged by people who benefit further from, further division. You look at reform, all the British flags going up. I went through Basildon the other day going, what in the Brexit is going on here? And it's a sad use of something which, soldiers coming home from war gave a real good feeling of I'm okay. I've made it back. It's not that anymore.
And in another extraordinary move, insiders, it looks to me like the palace are still protecting Andrew.
Yeah.
Now, this is the king.
This is what we've not even heard anything about the police and all this and Andrew, have we?
That the palace have been, it would seem, weaponising their power to try and
basically, I was going to say, because we haven't heard anything, because basically King Charles can't say shit, because Andrew will throw him under the bus.
Vanity Fair has been told to move on.
About his religion and anything else.
This is the palace working behind the scenes.
And then that fucking star.
King Charles, I feel,
will be protecting himself, so he'll throw King under the bus and Andrew under the bus, or all throwing each other under the bus.
We have a king who takes no advice. We have a king who is still protecting Andrew Mountbatten Windsor.
We've got a king that's changed his religion, converted to Islam.
Is allowing his press office to work with a picture agency, because Bath Media, they're always on the scene, aren't they? Always on the scene when there's a picture to get of Andrew on private royal land. This is ludicrous. Insiders, Bath Media have been there when the renovations at the Rumshackle were going on, and then they were there when Andrew was on his horse. Then they were there when Andrew was walking lowly on his own with his guard. Then they were there when there was the static caravan, and we were meant to believe, oh, it's terrible how Andrew's living. No.
She'll be living in the fucking jail.
No.
Mine's terrible in the caravan. She'll be in
We
the
are not
fucking
the
jail.
ones that were.
Why is he not in jail?
Rather, friends with Jeffrey Epstein.
Why is the police not arresting him?
We weren't the ones that lied.
Why is no one murdering him? I don't give a fuck.
We weren't the
I'm
ones
like, violence on the people on day. Why is nobody doing anything to them? Why is none of these crazy ones doing them?
This is King Charles that is allowing the press office to continue to try and rehabilitate and manage Andrew's public profile. It's disgusting, it's wrong, and I'm going to continue to call it out.
I was going to say, so
in jail. There we are, insiders. Bit of a punchy start to the week after the bank holiday. I have so many interviews lined up, and I cannot wait to share details of the people I'm interviewing. It's going to be hugely insightful. These are voices I feel very confident you won't be hearing or haven't heard on other channels, because I'm deeply committed to bringing you the stories you won't get in the mainstream media. As you've seen, the backlash regarding the king, it wasn't covered in any of the mainstream media, aside from GB News. This is absolutely shocking. So, like I always say, I know how much of your news is left on the cutting room floor in those newsrooms, but I'm bringing it to you. Now, if you are not subscribed, why not? Please, I know it's so annoying when people say this, but truly, this channel has grown. I keep thinking it's a joke at this point. When I get up in the night, I look at my phone and look at YouTube and I'm like, they're still there. Honestly, it's blown my mind. So the best way you can support this news coming to you for free is to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and ding ding for the notification bell. It's like the old days where I didn't have a jingle. Ding 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 ding. Anyhow, it's Easter holidays. I hope you are all having fun with your kids or grandkids. I am spending lots of time in the garden with mine. Do send me pictures of your time over the Easter weekend, and I will do a little wrap up in tomorrow's show and share some of your pictures. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for that. At least it's better than because I know that King Charles has changed his religion. You see, I know he's converted. You see, converted King Charles. King Charles has converted to Islam. I've been knowing this for a while now.
As my heir, William now assumes the Scottish titles which have meant so much to me. He succeeds me as Duke of Cornwall.
No, he doesn't, because you don't want your son in. You don't want William or Harry in, because they'll be the first British ones to take the lead over you, King Charles.
You've been watching the news over the past few days. You've been kind of following right-wing accounts and kind of parties, smaller fringe parties on X. You will have seen that there is a lot of controversy surrounding the monarchy, specifically King Charles and his relationship with Islam. There's been a few calls, especially from Britain First and Paul Golding, that they want to now abolish the monarchy because it has become entwined with Islam. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the problem, why people take the issue with the monarchy over Islam, and kind of the monarchy so-called Islam problem, how deep it goes, and then kind of what people are proposing and what I would personally do to solve the problem. So first up, kind of the big issue that has kind of sparked all this is King Charles' refusal to have an Easter message. Now, it's important to say that having an Easter message is not a regular kind of tradition for the monarch to do. It is kind of very irregular. The monarchy will sometimes deliver an Easter message. It's not like the Christmas address or the Christmas message where that happens every year and it's long-standing tradition. It is not a regular tradition to have the monarch deliver a message for Easter. However, the kind of specific part is that King Charles had a written message to commemorate the beginning of Ramadan and then Eid, the kind of holy holiday for Islam, marking the end of Ramadan, and fasting is his big holiday and all that. So he's commemorated the beginning and the end of Ramadan, a big, two massive Muslim holidays, kind of fasting events, but has refused a massive Christian holiday marking the resurrection of Christ, which I find really strange. I mean, the monarchy is so closely entwined with religion. I mean, the monarch himself or herself is chosen by God. They are the representative of God on earth. That has been the tradition and the viewpoint of the monarchy for thousands of years. It has kind of that viewpoint that the monarch is picked by the Lord, Jesus Christ, has kind of shaped British and English views and Scottish and Welsh views for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. It is so kind of such an ancient cultural link between the British monarchy or the British monarchies in the past before the Union and Jesus Christ and the Christian faith. So to kind of celebrate Islam and not Christianity just seems really out of the blue. It seems completely unnecessary. It seems like a bit of a spit in the face to British culture and traditions and our heritage to me. I think it's disgusting, to be honest. I don't understand why it isn't a regular thing where the monarch does have an Easter message every single Easter. It's a massive holiday. It's a massive Christian holiday marking the resurrection of Christ. If Christmas is a massive holiday marking the birth of Christ, I think the second birth of Christ is just as important, if not more monumental, because it marked how he died for our sins and then rose back from the dead, came back down to earth to continue his message to humanity. I think that is arguably more important than Christmas. It still promotes togetherness, family unity, and hope. I think it's a beautiful message, and it definitely should have a regular message like Christmas does, and just specifically so blatantly spit in the face of Christian and British traditions in this way in favour of Islam is, in my opinion, disgusting. It is an absolute betrayal. And Charles has a history of this. Charles has a big history of being pro-Islam. I mean, he specifically always praises Islam. Like in his 2025 Maundy, I believe I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong, Maundy Thursday message, he stated that Jesus' love reflects a deep human instinct echoed in Islam and other religious traditions. So King Charles believes that Jesus' love is reflected by Islam. By the way, every single Islamic controlled nation disrespects women to the nth degree, doesn't provide women with any rights, are very typically very violent societies, Muslim communities are typically violent communities. You know, that a large proportion of terrorist activity in the world, more specifically Britain, is conducted via Muslims. Where does this logic come from? Are we looking at the same religion? King Charles, are we looking at the same religion? I don't think we are. You were talking about